Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name's Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. So lot going on in the transfer window, but we'll speak about the transfers later in the show. So we'll crack on with the match week review of the Premier League. So match week 23. First game, Chelsea versus Tottenham. So an interesting fixture as it's the third time that Chelsea have played Spurs, 2 times playing in the Carabao Cup, and it's the third time they've won this month as well. So I'm sure a lot of Spurs fans are probably hating this fixture more than ever, considering the rivalry that they have, and they've not been able to win it whatsoever. So yeah, a bit unlucky for the Spurs fan there. But in terms of the match, solid performance from the Blues. But it was actually Spurs that hit the back of the net, where Kane pushed Thiago Silva, slugged the ball in the back of the net, but was ruled out by VAR as a push. If I'm honest with you, I think it was a soft decision. However, when you've pushed a player at arm's length and you can see the distance of your arms and pushing the player in that manner, you're always going to give the chance for the referee to disregard the goal. Had it been a slight nudge from the back or a little push where your arms aren't in sort of arm's length, then probably could have got away with it. But it was the manner of how he pushed him. It was going to be ruled out. So I know a lot of Spurs fans were happy, but it's all part of the game, I guess, in that regards. The goal itself that opened the scoreline, what a fantastic goal by Ziyech. Wonder strike, lovely curled shot, top corner. I'd love to see him do it more often. I think that's been his criticism this season with Chelsea, where he's not been consistent on the pitch. However, when he produces moments like that, you can see why he's such highly regarded and why Chelsea spent big bucks on him, I think a couple of years ago now. So, yeah, top player in my eyes. He also had another crack on goal, which was saved by Hugo Lloris. In the end, it was Thiago Silva who gets the winner for Chelsea, heading the ball from a free kick to clinch the win. So that puts Chelsea still at third. Spurs, on the other hand, are seventh and joint points with Arsenal, who who are in sixth position. So yeah, not the best of months for Spurs, but it was always going to be a difficult match to get any points from, to be honest with you. The next fixture is Crystal Palace and Liverpool. So Liverpool back in South London, or as some fans like to refer it as Anfield South, due to having a lot of Liverpool fans in this part of London, which is where I'm from as well. So it's kind of funny in that regards. But the game itself, Liverpool opened the score sheet with a fantastic header from the big man himself, Virgil van Dijk. Bullet header, unstoppable. Great way to open the score sheet for Liverpool there. The second goal itself, Robertson clips in the ball to Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he finishes fantastically with his left foot, playing more an advanced role. I think that's probably one of Oxlade-Chamberlain's assets in this Liverpool squad, where he's able to play in different positions, so it can easily play as a number 8. Can play on the right. I know he's not as effective on the left, but at least he's an option to be sort of used, especially during this month where we have a lot of players participating in AFCON. So yeah, I think he's definitely stepped up, and I think he's been very consistent whenever he's been on the pitch. So it'll be interesting to see what his future is this summer, because I believe he's on his final year of his contract, as well as Naby Keita. So that will be the talking point further down the line in the summer. I actually did a poll on Twitter to ask my Liverpool followers who they would prefer to leave this summer, and a lot of people say Oxlade-Chamberlain. So interesting. I would probably prefer Oxlade-Chamberlain to stay, but that's just my opinion there. So, but back to the game itself, Olise was very close to scoring. Great save by Alisson, and to be fair, I think he was the best player for Palace. Definitely as a spark in that team. Great dribble on the ball, makes things happen. If you watch my previous episodes, he's someone that I rate very highly, big fan of his. believe he has great potential to be a top player. So playing for a team like Crystal Palace, it will only help with his development. And who knows, he might be playing for a top 6 team in the future. I really believe that. And back to the game itself, Palace were able to get on the score sheet. Schlups was able to thread a pass that opened up the Liverpool defence. And then you had Mateto squared it to Edouard, and he pretty much finished it back of the empty net. So a good goal there for Palace. At that time, it was 2-1, and the momentum was going with Palace as they were pressing really hard. And I think this is why the sort of the emphasis on the penalty had a more importance. But before that penalty happened, Olise was actually very close to scoring with a chip. And then Ali to the rescue, who was, for me, man of the match in this game, really helped Liverpool in this fixture, as he had to definitely make a few saves and keep us in the game. The penalty itself, great through ball by Trent Alexander, hit it from 60 yards, I believe. And then Jota controlled the ball, tried to go around the goalkeeper, but unfortunately collided and was given a penalty. So the big talking point, was that a penalty? In my humble opinion, no, it wasn't. I think because of the way the keeper dived in, that might have been the reason why it was given. But if you look at the replay, Jota had the ball. He tried to go around the keeper. The way he touched it around wasn't as how he wanted to execute. I think he wanted it to be a bit more wide, but the ball ended up being a bit more narrow, closer to the goalkeeper than he'd expected. So he ended up colliding with the goalkeeper. For me, that wasn't a penalty. But it might not have had a huge emphasis on the game. I think at that stage, Liverpool were in control. I know Palace were pressing quite a bit beforehand, but I think we would have been able to get the win over the line. But nevertheless, Fabinho steps up to take the penalty, who has a great record. I believe when he was at Monaco, he never missed a penalty. So from the spot, he's probably as deadly as Jorginho, in my opinion. So great penalty from Fabinho there, who's been one of our star players regularly on the score sheet since the absence of Mane and Salah. So who says we don't have goals in our team? Overall, good win for Liverpool. Second place, 9 points behind City with a game in hand. Is the title race back on? I don't think it was ever over, to be fair. Obviously, it's more unfavourable for City because of the points gap and the form that they've been showing this season. However, still a long way to go, so expect some drama as the months unfold. And speaking of this Man City, we've got their fixture. So 1-1 draw with Southampton. Southampton opened the score sheet with a fantastic strike by Walker Peters. Came out of nowhere. Great left-footed strike. Nice goal to open the scoreline for Southampton there. Raheem Sterling was very close to scoring, but saved by McCarthy. Broja, who actually didn't know until a few weeks ago, is a loanee from Chelsea. And he's been fantastic for Southampton, a player to look out for in the future, I think. I was very close to scoring. Hits the post with a header, which was parried away by Edison. But in the end, City were able to get the equaliser with a Laporte header from Kevin De Bruyne's free kick. Beautifully executed free kick and nice solid header from Laporte there. Kevin De Bruyne close to grabbing the win actually for City. Hits the post towards the latter stages. But if I'm honest, I think Southampton deserved the win. They were fantastic throughout the game. A lot of people say City are invincible. It shows you they're not. They dropped points in this fixture. And I always say, even if you're top of the league in January, you should never celebrate regarding the points difference. Even when Liverpool won the league title a couple of years ago, I would never sort of be over jubilant in terms of where we are. Doesn't matter where you are in January. As long as you stay in that position on the last fixture, that's what counts in my opinion. So yeah, still a long way to go. And the next fixture, Manchester United versus West Ham. For me, not the greatest of matches to spectate. And I'm not saying it because Manchester United are a rival team, as I'm a Liverpool fan, but their performances have been below par, very flat, very average since the appointment of Rangnick. he hasn't done anything to improve that side whatsoever. But yeah, I was expecting more of an exciting encounter considering what's at stake with two teams fighting for top four here. But nevertheless, it wasn't to be. Fred was actually close to scoring for Manchester United. Great save by Areola there. Souček was also very close to scoring, pretty much known for his heading ability, especially in set pieces, and was just unfortunate to hit it wide there. Martial, who, I think it's just breaking news now, about 5-10 minutes ago, that he's officially signed for Sevilla on loan until end of the season. So he pretty much makes an impact coming off the bench, passes the ball to Cavani, who squares it to Rashford, and boom, starts it in back of the empty net. A cool way to lose the game for West Ham, unfortunately, but that's football. Performance-wise, as I mentioned earlier, not impressed with United, but at this stage, they're getting the points, they're getting wins, they're getting the odd draw here and there. So fans might not be complaining at this stage, but knowing United fans, if they're not playing a certain level of football, they won't be impressed with this manager right now. Obviously, I know he's a short-term appointment, but yeah, for me, it's interesting to see who they appoint at the end of the season, as I feel like there's more emphasis than ever, as it will show the direction of the club. But we've still got a few months until then, so we'll see how that goes. And the last fixture I'll review is Arsenal versus Burnley. So scoreline pretty much shows not much to say on this one. A flat performance by Arsenal, and it was very evident in this fixture that they lack firepower up front. Lacazette had some good chances in the game, but he just didn't have that killer edge in front of goal. Smith Rowe was actually very close to scoring, but his shot was blocked on the line from the Burnley defense there, who obviously played with a low block. And after that, Lacazette was quite close to scoring, but his shot, which he executed outside of his foot, just went wide. So a point, yes, but I think Arsenal fans were expecting more. And it's not been a great few days for Arsenal fans, with some breaking news today about Vlahovic, which I will elaborate more in our transfer talk session. So until then, what I'll do is I will present my team of the week. So let me share the graphics with you guys, and I will go through my team of the week. So here it is. In goal, as I mentioned, Alisson was fantastic for Liverpool, made some crucial saves, and definitely man of the match for Liverpool there. So that's why he's in my team of the week there. My back four, Luka Dean, who was fantastic as well, providing an assist. Shocking scenes in terms of the celebrations, where I think Everton fan threw a bottle towards his direction. Not something we want to see. Obviously, I understand that he just left the club, but there's no room for that sort of behaviour. So disgusting scenes to see on the pitch there. My sort of centre back pairing, I've gone for Silva, scoring the winner for Chelsea there. Probably not of a macho sort of moment for him where he's getting pushed by Kane in easy fashion, but it's the name of the game. I think it's just part of what we do. The other centre back is Van Dijk, scored a bullet header, and for me had a solid performance. Walker Peters also scored for his team there, so that's why I've gone in my team of the week. In terms of my midfield four, I've gone for Rashford on the left wing for grabbing the crucial winner for United's victory against West Ham. Shelvey got an important win for Newcastle, so there's hope with regards to their relegation battle. So well done to him, fully deserved. Moutinho scored a nice goal as well. I think it could have been between Moutinho and Neves. Neves scored the winner for Wolves, but I've gone for Moutinho, who I've been really impressed with. Despite his age of 35, he still plays football in an effortless manner and controls the midfield perfectly. So, yeah, great player for Wolves there. And Ziyech probably scored the goal of the week, in my opinion. Beautiful curler, top corner. So it was only right that I added him into the team. Having said that, the striker I have placed in my team, who's the star of the week, is Sargent, who plays for Norwich. Scored an audacious back heel. More of an instinctive finish, to be fair, but beautiful goal. Scored a second goal as well, where he mentioned afterwards that he had to do the sort of the baby celebration. As his missus wouldn't have been happy if he hadn't done that, considering he scored 2 goals. So nice one for him and his family there. And my final pick is Ivan Toney, who had a different appearance, cut his hair. So I didn't recognize him at first when I watched the game. Scored a beautiful volley, beautifully executed volley, perfect technique. So that's why I've got him there in my team of the week there. Now, back to the fun stuff when it comes to football is transfer talk. So we can elaborate more on the breaking news today, where Juventus agree 62.8 million deal for Vlahovic. So all sorts of thoughts ran into my head when I saw this news. First, it was, wow, did not expect that, because it's been quite publicly reported that Juventus aren't in the best financial position. I forgot her name now. Mina Raiola. No, that's the agent, isn't it? The Italian journalist who made some ridiculous comments about Salah back in the day. Forgot her name now. But she came on Sky Sports and said that very unlikely that Juventus would make any sort of deals in this month. They'd probably be looking for free transfer, which is sort of their model from back in the day. So this is a huge surprise. Obviously, they probably don't have 62 million to spend straight away. It was probably done in installments, but nevertheless, big surprise in the world of European football. And I don't think it was expected, especially in January. Maybe due to the pressure of Arsenal's hunt in getting a signature, I think they've had to move quick and just say, look, we need to try and get this player on board as soon as possible. Some may be surprised in terms of why he's actually stayed in Serie A. For me, it's actually a more smart and calculated decision regarding his career. So he's quite young. Let's not forget that he's 21, 22, I believe. So he's still got further development to do, despite the wealth of playing ability he has, especially as a finisher. He's fantastic. But with this move, he gets to play for a top team in the same league. So in terms of adjustment, not much required. Obviously, he has to adjust to the style of play for his new team. But in terms of the league, the country, the culture, and all that sort of stuff, he's pretty much a shoe-in to fire in all cylinders. A move to Arsenal would have been a gamble due to the fact that there's no guarantee that they will qualify for the Champions League, and it might deteriorate his development, as he probably wants to be spoken about in the same accolades of Haaland and Mbappe going forward in the future. So I understand the decision. I don't think it's a bad one. I think with Juventus, people haven't been impressed with terms of the players they have there, but this is a signing that sort of makes a statement, and he'll be leading that line for years to come. Don't get me wrong, I do think he will be destined to play in the Premier League one day, but a move to Juventus, no harm in that. I think that's a great move for both the club and the player. Just got a couple of comments here from Madison Smith. I think it would be tough to get a deal done this month, but should Arsenal look at Patrick Schick? So the Czech Republic striker who had a fantastic Euros, scored that great goal from the halfway line, I believe. He's a good player. I believe his fee would be similar range of around 60 million, which is what the fee is for Vlahovic as well. I think he's a good player, but I'm not too sure. The only reason I say that is in terms of his style of play, I see similarities in Olivier Giroud in terms of the style of play of both players. They're both very tall, both left-footed, both great finishes. So in hindsight, I think he probably should have just kept Olivier Giroud and had him leading the line. But obviously, he's a younger player, has probably more potential to improve. I don't think he would be a bad signing. I don't think Bayer Leverkusen will leave or allow him to leave right now. As you've mentioned, it's quite difficult to get a deal done, especially with only 6 days remaining. And I think with Schick as well, he's in the best form of his life. Leverkusen are trying to get that Champions League spot as well. So he wouldn't leave at this point, in my opinion. A summer move maybe on the cards. Another player you guys have been linked to is Alexander Isaac. He's a player I rate very highly, but I think his fee will be sky high as well, as I believe his release cost is around 80 million. So, look, it's quite obvious that Arsenal need firepower, but at this stage, you can't just be desperate to get anyone in. It has to be the right player, the right profile. So, yeah, I know it must be hurting Arsenal fans as this story has been going on for weeks, and it felt like it was a shoe-in where he was just about to walk through the doors at the Emirates. But yeah, it must be burning for a lot of Arsenal fans. But fortunately, that's just how it is. Another comment from yourself, Madison, is I will be pretty disappointed if no Vlahovic and Gomes unless the board have something else serious up their sleeve. It's very, very difficult in this window to acquire players of that quality. I think Juventus have only moved for Vlahovic due to the pressure that Arsenal have been doing in terms of getting the deal done. So they had to react as soon as possible. If he had gone to the Premier League, there would be no chance that they could sign a player like Vlahovic in the future. So they had to do it as soon as possible. Ramirez, I know he's a good player from Lyon, but he's having a great season there as well. It's just very difficult to acquire those type of players at this stage. So in terms of having anything up their sleeve, it wouldn't be for now. I don't think. Who knows? We might be in for a surprise in the next few days. I think the work will be done in the summer, as it will be done for a lot of the teams in the Premier League. Just got a couple of comments here from Ravi Bukhari. Yo, big up, long time. Thanks for joining, Ravi. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Question: how do we do better against a low block 10-man team? Yeah, I was referring to the last fixture we had. It's a tricky one. I think with our midfield, especially with no Thiago is that player we sort of look at in terms of unlocking defenses. But we need more of those type of players in the team, in my opinion. So Harvey Elliott is that player as well, who was fantastic, if you remember, earlier on in the season. And I do feel like Klopp is sort of drifting away from having those type of midfielders. When I'm talking about those type of midfielders, I mean like the Wijnaldums, where they play more sort of safe football. And I think he's looking for more of that creativity from the middle of the park. So I think it comes from the centre of the park. Our fullbacks as well. I think when they've had bad games against a low block team, we sort of fall apart. And it has to come from all parts of it. Midfield for me is key. If there's no if we're playing sideways passes, nothing's going to happen in that regards. Even our centre backs, but our centre back, I've been very impressed. So Van Dijk, as you know, is fantastic at long range passing, especially from where he's standing to Salah. That's like a trademark pass that he does, and he does it with ease as well. Matip makes marauding runs, which kind of puts the other team off guard. So sometimes it just comes down to a bit of luck in terms of how the other team is set up. Sometimes very difficult to play against a low block team. But I think the midfield is the key. That's why this summer, you know, Liverpool fans, you always say, this summer we're going to make big signings, or FSG are going to make big signings. I'm not getting my hopes high, if I'm honest with you, but we need a quality midfielder, more quality than quantity this summer, in my opinion. A top midfielder. I know the dream is Bellingham for Liverpool fans, but I just don't think that's realistic, if I'm honest with you. But we need a player who is a complete midfielder, has a creative spark, and can score goals as well. And we need more goals from midfield, in my opinion. So you've asked a question about low block teams. I think shooting from distance is one. We don't do that enough unless Oxlade-Chamberlain is on the pitch, or Curtis Jones, who does that as well. So yeah, it's very interesting question. But yeah, we just need a bit more quality in that midfield area. And who knows, we'll be able to unlock those difficult and tricky teams in the future. Your other comment is, I think Taki has done well when he's been called upon. I think so as well. I think people, especially in this month with the absence of Mane and Salah, have focused too heavily on Taki's sort of stats, that he's only scored one goal here and there, like he hasn't been on the score sheet, or he hasn't done as many assists. But when you're playing bit part in a team, it's very difficult to make that impact straight away. So whether you're playing a full game or if you're playing 20 minutes here and there, as long as you put in a shift and do well for the team. So even if it's your movement around and it allows play to open in certain areas of the pitch, that's all we can ask for. And let's not forget he's, I think, sixth choice in our squad. So compare that caliber of player to other teams, you're not going to get top quality sixth choice attackers in any squad, even in a Man City squad, to be fair. So I do feel that a lot of his criticism is quite harsh. I'm a fan of Taki. I do like the way he plays. But I feel like he's more suited playing in a sort of central position or on the left-hand side as well. But he's not expected to kind of beat the fullback or anything like that. He's more of a technical player. So giving the ball, he'll be able to sort of unlock defenses. And his finishing has been fantastic in front of goal. I know he missed that awful chance against Arsenal. But we're all human in the day, so it does happen. The other question is, would you say Virgil van Dijk and Gomez is our best centre-back partnership? I would probably still go with Van Dijk and Matip. Big fan of Matip. I'll rate Gomez really highly as well. But I feel like when Van Dijk and Matip play together, this is a very classy partnership in terms of they're very comfortable on the ball. They can both execute different range of passing, which I believe is an area that Gomez can improve of. His long passes can be a bit wayward sometimes, but Matip is quite unpredictable in terms of when he gets the ball, he makes these marauding runs and it puts the opposition off guard. And defensively, he's fantastic. He doesn't look like the quickest of defenders, but he hardly gets outpaced by anyone. And if he does, he definitely does enough to cover his ground and make a challenge at the end of the day. So for me, I would say Van Dijk and Matip is our best partnership. However, I do not want to see Gomez leave in the summer. I know there's been a lot of strong reports with him being linked to Aston Villa. I wouldn't want to see him part ways. I still feel like he has a future at the club. It's just been a season where Matip has actually stayed fit, which might not be good for him. Obviously, he wouldn't wish injury on a fellow member of the team, but Matip has stayed injury-free, so it's helped in that regards. And we've got Konate as well, who, for me, whenever called upon, looks really good as well. So we've got 4 quality centre-backs. I'm thinking in terms of my lifetime being a Liverpool fan, I haven't seen that level of quality, especially in our centre-back area, before in our squad in the last, let's say, 20, 30 years. So, yeah, I think we've got good centre-back pairings there. And for the future, Konate and Gomez can be the future for us as well. So, hopefully Gomez stays on, as I'm very impressed with him and I would like to see him play for Liverpool for a long time. Thoughts on Bobby? Is he getting back to the Bobby we know? Probably not to the best in terms of, for example, I'm thinking the 18-19 season where he was formidable. I think he's definitely showing a good level of his ability. I think he's lost a bit of pace as well. I think maybe due to a few injuries that he's had in the last few months as well. For me, he's still an invaluable player. I was reading some tweets earlier on today where a lot of fans have already had the idea that Firmino and Mane will be leaving in the summer due to a lack of sort of contract talks about both of these players. For me, both of these players have to stay. Bobby, even though he's not starting as much as he probably would like or has been in the past, he's an effective player. Our game is solely based around his capabilities in terms of his style of play, the way he holds the ball, the way he presses from the front. So Bobby is an invaluable player, in my opinion. You don't get a lot of Bobby Firmino in world football. Like for like, if you know someone that plays like Bobby, let me know. I don't know if there's a player that plays in his style of play. So yeah, I hope he sort of brings that form back as we need all of the players right now to Well, we've got a final next month to look forward to. We've got Champions League football coming up soon as well. We're still in the FA Cup. We play next week, and still make a charge for the title race as well. So no, for me, definitely getting back to his form. I wouldn't say his best, but I definitely think we're going to see the true Bobby Firmino next few months. Got a comment here from Madison Smith. Matip is undervalued, one of the best centre backs in the league easily. Thank you for your comment. I know you're Arsenal fan, so when I hear fans that aren't supporting Liverpool understand the value of Matip, it's always nice to hear. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, to be honest with you. Ravi Bukhari, as much as I like Milner and Hendo, but Milner and should not play together, not as effective for me. I have to agree with you. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago on the episode. It's not the same as like when Klopp first came to the club and he'd have both of those midfielders as a pairing. You know, you've got Milner, who's heading towards the latter stage of his career right now. Henderson is the last month or so hasn't been as effective as I think in terms of all-round play. He's been quite sloppy in terms of his passing. Still a valuable member of the squad. Obviously, he's our captain, but I agree. I don't think that should be a pairing we should see going forward. I'm not sure in terms of Milner's future. I know his contract expires in January. In July. So I'm not sure if he's going to be offered an extension or if he's leaving the club to maybe go back to his boyhood team in Leeds United. I don't think nothing's been sort of revealed in regards to that. So, but yeah, I agree. I think next season, if sort of my way of thinking pans out the way it should, that I hope Liverpool sign a top midfield player, I would probably have Henderson more as a bench player, not as if we have a fully fit squad. I would have him on the bench. Obviously, he's still an important player. He'll be playing in a lot of games, but I feel like we need more different style of players in the team, more energy, bit of youth there in terms of legs. So yeah, I'm thinking Bellingham right now, but obviously that's not going to happen. But yeah, I think in terms of the pairing you mentioned, yeah, I don't want to see that too much. I think against Arsenal, it was probably one of the worst games of the season, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, it's definitely not something we want to see going forward. But back to the transfers. So just before we went on live, I saw on Sky Sports there was official news that Martial has officially been unveiled as a Sevilla player. He will be there on loan until end of the season. I think it's a good move for the player and for the club. Sevilla are making a charge for the La Liga title, so adding that sort of firepower would definitely help with their chances there. Martial gets to play more first-team football, plays in a different country, in a different league, might help just to be in a different surrounding. He's been at United for a good number of years. Unfortunately, hasn't lived up to the potential when he joins from Monaco. Joined as a striker, but has been playing in different positions. So maybe that consistency of playing one role has affected his development. I always thought he was more of a number 9, but he was never deployed in that position. When he got his chance, for example, he'd always be shifted to the left to accommodate other players. This season, for example, with Ronaldo coming in, that limited his game time as well. So, yeah, obviously people make a mockery in terms of the clause that he had in the contract about the Ballon d'Or. You have to remember he was very, very highly regarded when he joined from Monaco. So that's the reason why they had that clause there. But it happens. It's just football, unfortunately. Some players fit certain clubs, and you have to remember United haven't been the best in the last few years. They've had so many different managerial appointments. That doesn't help a player like Martial, who was obviously a younger player at the time, to settle in the team and have a run in the game in the team as well. So yeah, I think it's a good move for both parties. There's no obligation to buy. So if he has a fantastic season, could return to United. That wouldn't be the advice that I would give him, but it could provide more suitors for him, maybe a bigger team in respective to Sevilla there. So yeah, I think good move for all involving with that deal there. And then another Manchester United, Van der Beek linked to a long move to Palace. So I think when he joined United, I said this wasn't the right move for him. I didn't feel like United was the right fit. And that's kind of proved my point here. Has been very limited in terms of opportunities in the first team. And unfortunately, has deteriorated in terms of his development. And I feel like he was a fantastic player at Ajax. Really, really good player there. A long move to Paris would actually not be a bad deal. I think Palace play some great football. Another player in the midfield would help. They've got Eze there, who's fantastic. You got Gallagher there as well. So adding another body like Van der Beek will only enhance the quality of their squad. So I think it'd be a good move all around. I don't think there's an obligation to buy. So at this stage, still rumours. There's no sort of official news if this is going to happen. But for Van der Beek, I would be in favour of him getting a move elsewhere. I know he's been linked with Newcastle. On paper, it probably sounds good to play for Newcastle, but I think Palace would be a better option, and then he can kind of review his options in the summer. And the final rumour is Eriksen is close to joining Brentford. So I believe they're set to give him a 6-month contract at the end of the season, and then just review his situation in terms of his health and if he's able to play at a later time. So it'll be great to see him back on the pitch after what happened to him in the Euros. So for me, as long as he's fit and healthy, it'll be a great move. Plus, as I mentioned last week, there's a big Danish players in that Brentford squad. Obviously, the manager's Danish as well, so that will help in terms of being around his native colleagues there as well. So that would be a good move all round, in my opinion. Just got another comment here from Ravi Bukhari. With Elliot being back, how crucial will his game management be so he can try and avoid getting injured, burnout to prolong his playing career for us? I think until the end of this season, game management will be key. He's come back quicker than predicted in terms of the injury that he suffered. It was a very bad ankle injury. Would probably have kept a lot of players out until the end of the season, if I'm honest. And that was the initial thought, that he won't be able to play this season. So he's done fantastic to recover on in such quick speed. Game management will be crucial, but we'll let the medical boys at Liverpool make that decision. I think as long as he's fit and healthy, I think right now, this month and the next month, he'll slowly be embedded into the team. I don't see him playing full 90 minutes every game. Maybe coming off the bench would be a great start to get him back into the team and then finding his rhythm. And once he does, I don't think there's no harm in him playing full games afterwards. So because of the impact he made earlier this season, I know a lot of Liverpool fans are excited to see him again. But yes, I think the expectations shouldn't be very high, not due to his quality, just to manage the player himself to avoid any further injuries. And obviously, when it's the end of the season, he'll be able to rest. He'll have a full preseason to get to full gear of his fitness. As right now, games are coming thick and fast, so he will be needed. But I feel like he won't be playing every game, for example. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him play. Offers different sort of options in the lineup. So predominantly a right winger, and that's what we've seen him play for Fulham. We saw him play for Blackburn on his loan spell there as well. But under Klopp, he's played as a number 8. So great to have him in the squad. Can play as a number 8, can play on the wing if required. But obviously, we've got Mo Salah coming back in the next couple of weeks. So his minutes will be limited if he was offered in that position. But yeah, excited to see him back, and hopefully does well for us going forward. And I think that wraps us up for today. So thank you to everyone who tuned in, and thank you for the comments from Madison and Ravi there. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate all the support. In terms of upcoming content, so I don't think there's any football this week. The Premier League will be resumed next weekend, which is it's not even the following weekend. Next weekend, FA Cup. So Premier League will resume on the 8th of February. So the next episode will be an Instagram show I have. So if you're on Instagram, please follow me at ozzie.ftp. I do a weekly show every Mondays. It's normally at 10 p.m. I'll explain why I've done it at 10:45 here on Instagram Live. So the reason I've selected 10:45 is because it's the transfer deadline day. So I thought it'd be interesting to do a live stream and then check breaking news happening whilst I am reviewing all the latest moments from the weekend of football, as well as maybe breaking news regarding transfers. I'm expecting a lot of news from Newcastle on that day, to be honest with you. So yeah, please make sure to tune in on that show. And next episode will be for next Thursday, 3rd of February. So I will be reviewing the upcoming games that take place on the 8th of February in the Premier League for match week 24. So please make sure to tune in. Just got one more comment here from Ravi. Bless up, sick channel, bro. Thank you for your support, Ravi. Always appreciated. What's the IG link, bro? I'll add a link under this video. So it'll link to my profile page. So when it's around 10:45, you'll be able to see a pop-up on your Instagram app, and it'll be a live stream. So you just click on live and then join the show. So if you'd like to come on the show, you can send a request or just send some comments. We can discuss Liverpool. I know you're Liverpool fans, and we can spark some debates, have a good interaction. So that show's pretty much for my followers to interact with me, ask me questions, start debates. So yeah, open forum for everyone. So looking forward to doing that next week. So yes, thank you again. Stay safe, everyone. Take care, and I shall see you next week. Good night.